Supply chain management is the handling of the entire production flow of goods and services, that is, from the raw component to delivering the final product to consumer. The five most critical components of supply chain management include planning, sourcing, production, distribution, and returns. In this interview with the Managing Director, International Supply Chain System, a custom license clearing forwarding agent, Chief Afam Chukuma, analyzes the activities taking place inside the Nigerian port and why Nigeria has not been able to operate international standard in supply chain management.
My name is Chief Afam Chukuma, the Managing Director, International Supply Chain Systems Limited, and also the Deputy National President Seaport of the National Government Approved Freight Forwarders, NAGAFF. I'm a seasoned freight forwarder and a maritime practitioner. Well, it's a matter of getting it right here and not getting it right on the other side. The first thing the federal government did, which I applaud, is the creation of a dedicated ministry for the industry. Before now, you have some key agencies in the industry who belong to the Ministry of Transportation, some belong to the Ministry of Finance, some belong to aviation and all of that. But today we have one ministry of marine and blue economy. We all of us have come together under one minister supervising the activities, because we used to have bottlenecks and challenges when it comes to resolving issues at that ministerial level. You know, for instance, if you have NIMASA having an issue with maybe Nigerian Shippers Council, and the NIMASA man reports to the supervising minister, who then was Minister of Transportation, and the other man reports to his own minister, and to have resolution at that level is always very difficult. Meaning that we have everybody is under one ministry of blue and marine economy, it's easy to have one person look at the interagency issue and resolve it as quickly as possible. So I applaud that for the federal government. Then talking about where they have missed it, you know, there are rooms for serious improvement on the part of the federal government, especially in the area of fluctuations in pricing and exchange rates. It has really affected the industry. This industry is a window and door to international world. Talking about maritime industry, deals with the international community, and the international community is priced by exchange rates. And naira, getting weaker every day against other external currencies is not too good for us. Now, even getting weaker may not necessarily be the problem, because at times there can be deliberate policies by economic managers of the country to weaken there. But the instability and the fluctuation is a real issue, because it makes it difficult for players to plan, to predict, and to set agenda, because they do not know where it will fall. So this is a very big issue. Also, in the areas of deployment of ICT infrastructures in the industry is still lacking. I praise the customs for what they have done in terms of modernization and ICT, but even them, they still have serious work to do on server and connectivity stability. Every now and then there is breakdown of server. It's become a common language. No network. Almost every day, no network. You can't have full 24 hours of free flow of network with the customs. Well, I think maybe like that they are still better, and they're always trying to improve. So we put them for that. The other agencies should emulate them. The Nigerian Ports Authority, the Nigerian Shippers Council, the other agencies that the NAFDAC, even the port, all of them, they should improve, they should deploy, should spend, in ICT, so that we can have come to a stage where we can have a seamless transaction, paperless transaction. People can sit in the comfort of their offices and transact with these agencies without physical interferences with the officers. So these are more the issues, I believe.
Chief Afam Chukwuma is currently the Deputy National President, Seaport Operation of National Association of Government-Approved Freight Forwarders (NAGAFF), and also doubled as a consultant in freight business. Statistics made available to Seabed and Broadcast Communication shows that importation has dropped with over 50%. Where has Nigeria got it wrong?
Well, as if I knew you would ask that question. It boils down to this, what I mentioned earlier. Instability in the exchange rate is key. It's number one. Then, because that's multiplier effect. When people cannot plan, and when the naira gets weaker and the dollar gets higher, the purchasing power of the people reduces automatically. If you needed $20,000, for instance, 5 years ago, to close out a 40-footer container, when the exchange rate was perhaps 400 naira to a dollar, and now exchange rate is about 1,500. Yes, so you can do the arithmetic yourself. You that same $20,000 cannot close out the same 40 feet. Now you will need times 3 or 4 of that $20,000 to be able to close out the same 40 feet, just one. So how many people have that capacity? And even if you run to the bank to get loan, it's still not easy, because you get that huge fund to buy that little. At the end of the day, you cannot even predict how much to sell, because it keeps going up and down. Okay, you come to a stage that by the time you finish selling those products, because exchange has gone up again, your profit has been wiped off. You need to get funds externally to add up to both the capital and the profit, to be able to remain in business. That has been the case. So many people, what they decide to do is to slow down on their activities. If you used to do 10 containers, for instance, or 10 tons, or as you're measuring it, you go down to 5, or you reduce it drastically so that you can manage your risk, and also because that's what your financial power can also afford. So that's when that happens. Of course, it's a reduction in cargo throughput. That's what you see that is going on. That's why you have that reduction.
Facilitating with the Controller General of Nigerian Customs Service for his 1 year in office, he said,
The new CGC of Customs, Mr. Bashir Adeni, I like to call him the silent achiever. This one man that does not make noise. He's not the type that makes tough comments. I've been following him. He talks softly, but he carries big stick. That is kind of person. You just see the actions. You just see that things are changing. You just see that things are happening. But you never see him on the press or anywhere, beating his chest and giving command that if you don't do this, I will do this to you. It's not his style. So I give it to him. He has really done a lot. In anti-smuggling war, he has done so much. Some illicit drugs have been seized at the border ports. People brought in some security challenging equipment, even at the ports. The other day in Port Harcourt, all over the place. Because of the eagle eye, that this operation Wale that he is using to do some of these anti-smuggling activities. doing well. Then in terms of revenue generation, well, they are doing well with the duty payments that have been increased. Why it is good for them to generate revenue, I will also want to advise, which is it's good that they are beating that mark of target, which ordinarily shouldn't be anyway, because I don't support the idea of targets for customs. I believe customs should be left to facilitate trade first of all, and of course generate revenue. But revenue should be based on the professional way of doing it any other place in the world. It should be based on your value and your classification. As simple as that. It should be based on your actual transaction value. How much did you buy these products? What is the classification for it? How much is supposed to pay as duty? We apply it as simple as that. There is no law that says that all items must pay the same, and there can never be such a law, because all items are not of the same value. So they've done well in that aspect. So I advise that we apply more of the statutory official way of raising revenues than making some blanket kind of applications. But apart from that, I think the new edition of the CJC 1 year of it has done well. On overall, he has done well. Of course, there are areas for improvement, but overall, he has done well.
The current challenges of government agencies at the port, he has this to say.
Yes, the industry. You see, the industry, Nigeria has a way of not matching up in growth when we begin to compare them with some other countries. But of course, you see that there is an improvement from point A to point B. But when you look at the fact that we are infused with so much talent in this country, that we have a lot of natural resources, human resources, talents, endowments here and there, you will be disappointed. But of course, we are seeing improvements. I'll give you an example. I was in where you call Taiwan, Chinese Taipei. I was there, I think, about 20-something years ago. It was just like Lagos. But I think in 2015, which is about 10 years ago, or 9, I went back to the same place. I was there, and everywhere was just like what you see in Shanghai, China, and the rest of the big cities in the world. So you see, and this is a place that even Lagos, I was somewhere, Lagos was more of a developed place than Chinese Taipei as at that time. But they have left us. Dubai is another place. If you knew United Arab Emirates 50 years ago, or even 40 years ago, it was the desert that it is. But today, even Americans and Europeans go for holidays and tourism in Dubai. Dubai is a dry place. They've created massive waters for themselves to solve their dry nature. So, they have leadership, which defines all of this I'm saying. So the industry is getting better, but not to be compared with what it should be if we actually have true dedicated leadership that is committed to developing the industry and of course even the country at large. I'm not limiting it to one government or the other. What I'm saying, it has been a cumulative failures of administrations, and we look forward and believe that things will get better.
Speaking on why the Council for Regulation of Freight Forwarding in Nigeria, CRFFN, has been silent for some time, he said,
the agency is used to being spoon-fed, just like many other agencies in Nigeria. The agency cannot be scrapped, should not be scrapped, but rather people who are managing the agency should sit up. They should sit up and do what they have to do. they should strengthen their enforcement arm. Collection of POF alone is enough to sustain that agency and to put money back even to the federal government account. Why are they doing it? Because you don't just sit down and wait to be giving food into your mouth. People pay, but maybe some don't pay. They have not really harnessed it. But I know that at the point of writing your TDO, the terminal operating companies assist in collecting these things. I do see on my own jobs, I do see alerts on POF from my staff, but I don't know how serious it is with every other place, because if one terminal company is doing it, for instance, let's say PMT Door is doing it or TST is doing it, what of the bonded terminals, what of the other ports outside Lagos, what of the airports, what of area place? So they need to seriously put enforcement in place. And they need to seriously start engaging at the upper level, engage at the ministerial level, engage at the managing directors level, engage stakeholders themselves. Sensitize everybody on why and the importance of paying their POF, and they, on their own turn, should carry out their own statutory responsibility of training and certifying freight forwarders, giving them the skills, the requisite knowledge. They should manage the port system, the freight forwarding system, such that if you are not trained, if you are not certified, if you have not gotten that knowledge, you should not operate as a freight forwarder.
According to World Bank, the blue economy is the sustainable use of ocean resources for economic growth, improve livelihood, and create jobs. This was the plan that the federal government of Nigeria had in mind, but gave the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy to the wrong hand. The question on the lips of maritime stakeholders is, where is the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy? Joy Enamna, Seaport TV.